What's going on, everybody? David here, back with another live stream. Thank you guys all for being here. Really appreciate all the support. And we are going to get started momentarily. I know I came on about a couple minutes past 7. I had to run and grab something to drink before we got started. Okay, so we are going to make, what color we're going to have today? We're going to have green. Just going to make that executive decision. That's not green. That's not green. You know what? We'll leave it blue. Blue is good. Blue works. So we have a couple of things we're going to talk about today. I have some videos to show you. I have some videos that you're not going to believe. Really interesting videos, to say the least. First off, I want to say thank you to Miss Happy Apple for being here and moderating the group. Really appreciate all that. I really appreciate all that you do. And also, I know you emailed me yesterday that your moderation in the group will allow you to moderate as far as comments. So I think that's what you were asking me. If not, then hit me up again. I did respond to your email, but I just wanted to let you know here. That should allow you to moderate in the comment section, not only in the chat. And so if you want something further, just let me know and we'll discuss that. All right. So like I said, we are going to talk, or actually I didn't even say what we're going to talk about today. So let me get the official start, and then we'll come in, and then I'll tell you exactly what we're going to talk about. So hello, everyone. Hello. Amy, hello. Edith, hello. Cassandra, hello. Denise, hello. Christina, too cool. Giovanna, Larry King, Lou. Who else is in here? Everybody's here today. This is great. So if you guys can do me a favor, hit that like button. If you hit the like button, it will help with that YouTube algorithm. And I want to bring as many people in as possible. So if you can hit the like button, YouTube likes when you hit the like button. So that's the thing. There's a new documentary on Netflix. I can't remember the name. If someone knows what I'm talking about, just put it in the chat. But it talks about social media, and I found it interesting, very interesting. It's kind of crazy because I'm in social media. I mean, I think we're all kind of involved in social media in one way or another. We have different accounts, YouTube, Facebook, all that stuff. But they take a deep dive into what's going on when it comes to social media and how it can control your life. And I would have to agree. I'm on my phone all the time. And if I don't have my phone, I feel like I'm missing something. So it's true. That's definitely true. But they really go in deep when it comes down to it, and how the internet, or not just the internet, but how social media can cause problems in elections, can cause problems in people believing certain things and acting on them. So it's a really good Netflix documentary. I really encourage you guys to watch it. And I can't remember the name, so it's bothering me. But if you guys know what I'm talking about, put it in the chat. It just came out, and I definitely want to encourage you to watch it, even though it's not favorable to social media. The social dilemma. Yes, that's it. Yeah, thank you, Robert. So even though it's not friendly to Google, it's not friendly to YouTube, it's not friendly to Facebook and stuff, but it is something that you need to think about when it comes to what you're watching on different platforms and what you're believing from different platforms. I always say, look, don't just listen to me and say I have all the information. Listen to a variety of different people, and then listen to where our sources are coming from, and then make that judgment call. There's a lot when it comes right now. There's a lot of stuff that's going on, and we all see it with the stimulus check debate and all this stuff. And it's interesting because you have a lot of people saying different things, right? Well, you need to find out. Usually if I'm going to tell you something, I'm going to tell you a source. But you really need to, and most of the time, and that's why I like to show videos a lot, because the videos, it's the person saying whatever they're saying, right? So you hear it from them. Now, there's an argument that I can edit or just show a certain portion of the clip, but I can't show you the whole video. So in a lot of situations, I do have to show you a portion of the clip, but I always encourage you to watch the full clip. So just so you'll know, like, hey, okay, this was the whole context. I never will show you just a short little portion. I usually show you the whole. If there's a question that's being asked, I'll show you that whole question. I'll show you him answering or her answering the question. But there's certain situations where you'll see someone just show a small little clip. It's like not even the full sentence, just part of. And then when you see stuff like that, then you know, okay, yeah, they're just trying to use that to, like, you see it a lot in commercials, like these campaign commercials, these ads. You'll see like these, just a short little clip. It's not even the full sentence, and obviously that's something that they're taking it out of context in most situations. So yeah, you do have to do your research. You can't just take whatever I'm saying or take whatever anyone's saying on the internet for as being the truth, right? You want to do your research when it comes down to especially stuff like this, where we're talking about money and stuff that possibly could be coming. You want to watch. Don't just watch one YouTuber and say, "Oh, I only watch this person because they have all the information." No, watch a few different people and see if those stories are jiving up, or like I'm going to show you guys today some Gallup poll stuff. Watch the Gallup poll. I mean, I'll have the link so you can go to the link and you can see for yourself exactly what I'm talking about. So anyway, all right. We're going to go ahead and get started here. Yeah, we're down to zeros. I see. We're at zeros, Chris. All right, we got it. All right. So let's officially get going. What's going on, everybody? What's going on, everybody? David here. I switched over too fast, so you didn't hear the end of the music there. Anyway, we are going to get started today. Thank you guys all for being here. Thank you for coming to the live stream. If you could do me one favor as you come in, please hit that like button. It helps with our YouTube algorithm. It will bring more people in the room so we can have a real good discussion today. I spent most of the day watching football, like I'm sure some other people did. I'm glad football's back. That's my favorite sport. So I watched a little bit of football, and now we're going to talk about a few different things. We're going to talk about some Gallup poll information. So my question to you guys, even before we get started, where do you think people are when it comes to stimulus checks right now? When I say people, I mean us, the American people. Do you think we're over it? There's some people that have told me, you know what, I'm over it. If we get it, we get it. I don't even want to hear this debate anymore. I don't care. If I get it, it'll be something that's a nice surprise. You have people that are saying, no, we need to have this. I really want this. You have some people that are saying, I don't even want a stimulus check. Never wanted one. We don't need one. And so I want to know what do you guys think? Because we're going to look at some polls from Gallup, and they're pretty interesting because they talk about what people are thinking when it comes to the whole stimulus check debate. We're also going to look at the enhanced unemployment. We're going to look at a poll that kind of talks a little bit about that. If you were to receive $450, would you go back to work? If if you're getting $450 a week in addition to your regular unemployment, would you go back to work if you were asked to go back to work? So Gallup did a poll on that. So we're going to take a look at that. And then also, how much is too much? Like, I mean, when it comes to a stimulus check, or I shouldn't say how much is, how little is too little? Yeah, how little is too little? So when it comes to stimulus check, is $900 or more? Is that where most people are? Is that what most people want? Or do they want less than 900? Between, I think it was 900 and 599 or something like that. So we're gonna look at those polls, and then we're also gonna look. CNN was doing an interview with Peter Navarro earlier today, and it got a little heated. So I want to show you guys that. And Peter Navarro, they kind of had to cut back to Jake Tapper and kind of just cut off Peter Navarro mid-sentence. So it was pretty interesting. So we'll look at that. And then I have a couple of videos to show you guys. And these videos, one is going to show you a food bank, and then the other one is just, I just have to show you this because you have to know what's going on out there when it comes to, we are still in a pandemic, and this is something that didn't have to happen, but because the president wanted to do a campaign rally, this is what ensued. So I'm going to show you that as well. So like I said, before we get started, please hit that like button. Let's see if we can get to 1,000 likes. We didn't get to 1,000 likes last time. Let's see if we can do that this time. So if you are here, you're new, or not new, but if you just come in, you haven't hit the like button, go ahead and hit it. If you've already hit the like button, don't hit it again because it just, hit it 3 times. That way it'll go back. But obviously, people say hit it twice. Yeah, okay, I'll hit it twice. And then you hit it once and you hit it again, then it's unliked. So if you guys could hit that like button, I really appreciate it. So we will get started right now. So let's go ahead and take a look at the first story that we're going to talk about today. So the first story we're talking about is a Gallup poll. So we're going to take a look at what people think, or what people, let me just flip it over here so you can see. So when we're talking about stimulus checks, how many people think we should get stimulus checks? How many people we should not? They think, oh, there's no need for another stimulus check. And then you have people that don't know. Now, I don't have a little pointer, and you see the little mouse cursor here. I can't control that. That was actually when I captured the picture. I had the little mouse click on there. So I'm going to have to walk you through this. I have to figure out how I can use the mouse so I can move around and show you guys exactly what I'm pointing at. But if you look midway on the screen here, you'll see it says U.S. adults. It's right above Democrats. So that's where we'll start. So at U.S. adults, you see 70% of U.S. adults think that we should receive another stimulus check. So, and it's kind of interesting because I was thinking that number would be even higher than that, but 70% nonetheless. And realistically, you have 17%. So if you look right to the right of that, you see 17% say that we should not get stimulus checks. And then you have a 13% that says they don't know. So realistically, that don't know, some of those people could be in that 70%, add to that 70%, I guess you could say, because some people don't know, they're kind of could be, or they could be for it or could be not be for it. But yes, nonetheless, 70%. So that's a majority of the population thinks that stimulus checks are good, and they want another round of stimulus checks. Now, if you go right below that 70%, then they break it down as far as the parties. So Democratic Party, you have about 82% of the people who participated in this poll said that we should get stimulus checks, and then Republicans 64%, and then Independents 66%. Now this is really interesting. So when you look at the age down here at the bottom, you see that between 18 and 34, 65% say yes, we should. Now, and some of those people are probably still living at home. Not all of them, but some of them might still be living at home. So they really don't have the same bills that a person who is out on their own working a full-time job would have, or not working a full-time job because they were laid off, but they're head of household. They're the ones that are bringing in the income. So it means more to them. So you see from 35 to 44, that huge jump there, right? 77% of people who participated in this poll say that yes, we should. And then 45 to 54, kind of interesting. I mean, I guess it drops down to 70. I would think that number would be just as high as the between 35 and 44, but nonetheless, 70% for 45 to 54. And then once you start getting into the retirement age, 55 to 64, and then 65 plus, then you're looking at higher numbers when it comes to that. Actually, 55 to 64 is even lower. So that's interesting as well. So, yeah, so that is the first poll that I wanted you guys to take a look at. So pretty interesting to see how that all played out. Now let's look at the amounts, because this is really interesting too. So then we're going to look at U.S. adults again. So on the left, kind of halfway down, a little less than halfway down the chart here, we see U.S. adults, 66% say 900 or more. Okay, which is, I would think people would be, I would think these other numbers wouldn't even exist, but nonetheless, you do have people. If you go right to the right there, you have people that are looking at 600 to 899, 14%, right? 300 to 599. If you go to the right there, 16%. So there are people that are saying, yeah, you know what, stimulus checks are good, but we don't think 1200 is good, or we don't think 900 plus is good. So that's pretty interesting. When it comes to Democrats, Republicans, Independents, so right below here, the second line here, they're pretty much all the same. I mean, they're very close when it comes to what people are wanting. But vast majority of people want 900 plus. So they want 900 or more. And then when you look at the age breakdown, then again, you see it starts when you're younger, you 900 more, it's not really that big of a deal to you. But as you get older and you move on down to retirement age, 65 plus, then you're looking at just higher numbers there. So that is that breakdown there. And then one more poll I want to show you guys. Now, this poll here, this is talking about the enhanced unemployment. So there's that big argument, okay, people are getting $600 a month or $600 a week. They're making more than they're making in, more on unemployment than they're making in a regular job. So there's going to be that they're not going to want to go back to work, right? So they didn't use this. The Gallup didn't use a $600 per week in this poll. The highest was 450. So if you do look at 450, they're very likely to go back to work if they're receiving 450. 52% very likely, somewhat likely to go back to work, 34%, somewhat unlikely. So these are the people who are not going to go back to work because they feel that they're making enough on unemployment, I guess. I don't know exactly how this was worded. I guess this is the exact wording here. How likely are you to return to your previous job in the federal government if the federal government extends an additional weekly UI benefit? So how likely? And you see here 7%, 7%. So when it comes to 450, you have 52% very likely, 34% somewhat likely, 7% somewhat unlikely, and 7% very unlikely. And then when you drop down to 300, so basically, and the high number is the one that's really important to us, right? Because that's the one that should really show the most when it comes to people that are very likely to go back to work, which is kind of interesting. 52% very likely here, but then when you drop down to $300, you have 48% very likely. So it drops. Kind of weird, but nonetheless, this is the poll. Now, polls are not always completely accurate, right? And we know that. So it's just interesting because when you're polling people, it's interesting because you can kind of pull in different viewpoints, and they're not always going to be, they're not 100%. Some of them are not even 50% sometimes. But it is kind of interesting to see how people are thinking and just where people are when it comes to things. Like the whole stimulus check thing, if you would have asked me, I probably would have said like 89%, 90% that people want stimulus checks. But according to Gallup, no, it's not that high. It's about 70%. That's the first story I wanted to talk about. Let me know what you guys think down below. So let me know in the comment section. What do you think about this Gallup poll? Do you think that this is pretty accurate? Where are you? So let me know how you feel about it. Do you think we should get stimulus checks? Are you over it? Like I said, are you just is it just one of those things you don't even want to think about anymore because some people are so frustrated with this whole thing and they don't even want to know. Like they don't even care. They've gotten to that point. So let me know what you guys think about that. And also in the chat, if you're watching live, let me know what you think about this whole Gallup poll. All right, we're going to move to the next story. So the next story, Peter Navarro, he was doing an interview on CNN. And let me just kind of set it up. So basically, the Woodward tapes, I don't know if you guys have been listening to the Woodward tapes. I'm not going to play them here. Maybe I'll do that in a future show if we do a show kind of devoted to that. But basically, in the Woodward tapes, basically what happened is there are 18 different sessions where Bob Woodward, who's a reporter, was calling the president or the president was calling Bob Woodward. Bob Woodward wrote a book. And so he wanted to record all these conversations so he could write his book. He let President Trump know, you're going to be recorded. And President Trump was okay with that. So they just were having different conversations. One of the conversations happened around the beginning of COVID-19. So in February, I think it was February 7th, if I'm not mistaken, I believe it was February 7th. There was a discussion where President Trump came out and was just talking about the COVID-19 and how he knows that it's 5 times deadlier than the common flu. And so there was a sense of urgency at that time. But then after that, what President Trump was telling the American people was a little bit different. He was downplaying it more, saying that it would go away on its own. And President Trump, in this tape, admitted that, yes, I was downplaying it because I didn't want people to panic. So that was his argument, and this is, on the tape. But the whole thing is, I've seen plenty of times in recent times where president is saying things that would really make people panic. But just even talking about the suburbs and people moving into the suburbs and things like that, and danger that's coming to the suburbs and stuff, that would make a lot of people panic, I would think, right? So this whole thing, the argument when it comes to the Woodward tapes, should the president have told us more so we would be more serious about this whole situation? Because if you're telling me it's not a big deal and it's just going to go away on its own, then guess what? I'm not going to change my lifestyle at all. I'm going to continue my same lifestyle, which means I'm not going to wear a mask. I'm just going to go out and be in crowds and go to restaurants and bars and all that stuff and not really think anything of it, right? Because you're telling me that it's going to go away. But if you do know, and you're having conversations with other people, and you know that this is dangerous and this is not like the common flu, and I heard that argument come out, oh, it's just like the flu. People have they get the flu every year or whatever. It's the same thing. I heard that argument back in February and back in March. Actually, I won't say in February because I was in Colombia in February. I came back in March. But I was hearing that argument in March. Oh, it's just like the common flu. You'll catch it. You'll be fine. All this stuff. And so what should the president have told us? Should the president have come forward and said, look, this is no joke. This is dangerous, and we need to take this very seriously? Or should he have downplayed it like he did and not said anything as far as how serious the severity of it was? So I'll let you guys be the judge of that, but we want to watch this clip real quick because, like I said, it gets a little heated, and we do have them cut him off at the end here. So let's go ahead and take a look.
So we have heard government officials say that the president should have been straightforward with the American people, and he was not. Not just Democrats, by the way. I want you to take a listen. Here's Senator Susan Collins, Republican of Maine, followed by Democratic Governor Phil Murphy of New Jersey. Take a listen to them.
The American people can take hard facts, and he had an obligation as president to be straightforward with them.
If we had known that earlier, we would have shut the state meaningfully earlier. It's inconceivable to me that we wouldn't have been able to save lives as a result of that.
All right, may I respond
Bipartisan
now,
consensus, bipartisan consensus, yet that the president should have been straightforward.
Can I respond here, Jake? Okay? You have to go back to February and March. We're in the fog of war from the China virus. There are competing views as to whether this is simply the flu or whether this is very serious.
What are the competing
and we go through,
views?
hang on. The scientist, look, you had Nancy
else.
Pelosi dancing with scarves in Chinatown at the end of February saying, come on down. You had de Blasio and Cuomo in March saying, come on down. You
Why
had
wasn't
Dr.
the president
Fauci
straightforward with the
saying
American
that there was
people?
low risk. He was straightforward.
No, he wasn't.
There was, look, Jake, I'm telling you
just answer
what our
it's a very
strategy
basic
is.
question. Right, you want to talk about what you want to talk about,
You're
okay?
cherry picking.
No, I'm not cherry picking. On February 7th, he knew that it was in the air, that it was five times deadlier than the flu.
No,
5 times deadlier. That's on the tape.
He expressed that to Woodward, but at the same time,
2 weeks later, he's saying that the flu is deadlier than the coronavirus.
Jake,
Why wasn't he honest?
You just don't want to listen, Jake. You just
I
don't
want you to
wanna
answer the
listen.
question.
I am answering your question. You just don't like the answer. The answer is in February all the way through the middle of March, when the World Health Organization finally said there was a pandemic, and China was hiding the information. Finally, that's when we knew that there was a pandemic. And you know what, Jake? We were at that point prepared for the worst. In February, we were moving mountains on PPE, therapeutics, testings, and vaccines so that in the time that we needed those things, we got those things. And it's a miracle what we've been doing on vaccine development. We have a possibility of getting a vaccine by the end of the year. And I put that right in a memo on February 9th under the advice of the president in terms of getting on this situation because it might be serious. You can't have it both ways, Jake. You simply can't.
I'm not trying to have it both ways.
In February, nobody knew. No, nobody knew. Not the president, not
February
you,
7th.
not Nancy Pelosi, not Bill de Blasio.
He knew it was deadlier than the flu, and he was lying to the American people 2 weeks later.
Jake, you're cherry picking.
I'm not cherry picking.
But you can say, look, I think
here it
all
is.
of this is asked and answered, Jake. Look, here's the thing.
He was not honest with the American people. You're not answering the question.
You're not honest with the American people. CNN is not honest with the American people. CNN, you want to go there? I mean,
I said you're not answering the question. Here's the thing. Thank you, Peter Navarro. We just played tape. You didn't answer the question.
No, you can't say that.
You didn't answer the question. No, you didn't.
Repeatedly, Jake. You just didn't like the
Peter
answer.
Navarro, thank you so much. I appreciate your time today. Thank you so much. And I would just like to remind the American people watching that the United States has less than 5% of the world's population, and the United States has more than 20% of the world's coronavirus deaths. That is a fact. It does not matter how many times he insults CNN.
All right. So pretty interesting, right? And I watch all the different news outlets, and Peter Navarro is kind of the same way in all of his interviews. He's very he can get very angry, I guess you could say, visibly angry, and he just continues to talk through the interviewer. And he's one of the ones that will really spin things up, where you'll ask him a question and he won't answer the question, and he'll just continue to talk about something else or bring up different topics just to fill in that spot, that gap. Like I said, when it comes down to it, what a lot of politicians do this as well as aides and people speaking on behalf of politicians, they'll just continue to talk because you only have a certain amount of time for a segment. So they're just going to continue to talk, and they'll spin it to different things in the hopes that the reporter won't come back at them with the same question again. And so, yeah, it's pretty interesting just to see that. I mean, yeah, it got pretty heated. And then of course, I don't care what news outlet you watch or anything like that, but that's always the argument that's coming out of the White House is, oh, you're CNN, so you can't have the correct information, or you're fake news, or what have you. And that's just a way to downplay and not answer a serious question, which I thought it was a serious question. I mean, if you think about it, he's on tape saying, on February 7th, saying, yes, this is a dangerous virus, and this is 5 times more deadly than the flu, but not expressing that a couple of weeks later when he talked to the American people. And so could that have made a difference? We'll never know, but I do know, and just like what Jake Tapper was saying at the very end there, 5% of the population, that's the U.S. We make up 5% of the population, but 20% of the deaths for COVID-19 are in this whole pandemic, which is pretty amazing, right? And so it's crazy. And I know people have made the argument, oh, well, they're not all COVID-related deaths. Some people had underlying issues and stuff like that. That is a conspiracy, okay? Yes, when you sign a death certificate, there are some other there could be some other factors that they put on there as far as your different risks that you have at the time. But I mean, a good example of this, let's say, God forbid, you get stabbed or you get shot or something like that, and you pass away, and you just happen to have had diabetes or you happen to have had high blood pressure or something like that. You were taking blood pressure medication, blood thinners, so you bled out quicker than another person would have if they weren't taking blood thinners, stuff like that. So the cause of death wasn't because you were shot, it was because you had high blood pressure, if you get what I'm saying. So that argument doesn't it doesn't hold water when you look at it. They're dying because of COVID-19. COVID-19 is what's killing them. They would still be alive even if they had diabetes or they had some other underlying condition if it wasn't for COVID-19. So, yeah, that's pretty interesting. I mean, we'll have to see where this goes. These Woodward tapes, and there's, like I said, there's 18 different sessions, or 18 different tapes, and so there's still stuff to come out from these tapes. And so we'll have to see. And I'm sure, because Woodward has his book out, and I'm sure he's going to kind of probably leak a little bits at a time, although his book's already out. So I don't know exactly what they're doing. If they have 18 different tapes and we've only heard a couple of clips. So we'll have to see where it goes from there. I want to know what you guys think in the chat. So let me know what you think about that. Also, if you're watching this and it's not live, in the comment section, let me know what you think about this. Do you think that this is just CNN trying to play something up, or do you think it's actually a question that should be answered? And it's really pressuring the White House now to kind of figure out what's their game plan what's their strategy when it comes to getting past this. But this is definitely something that people are listening to because they hear the president. They're actually physically, they can hear the president saying these words. It's not one of those things where someone else secondhand is saying, yes, this is what the president says. This is what the president's saying, and he's on tape saying it, and he knows he's on tape. It's not like a private recording. This is something that he agreed to. So, all right, let's go ahead and move forward. Now, I want to show you guys this clip, and this is interesting. This is a food bank, and we've seen this all over the U.S., right? So we see these long lines at food banks, and I just don't know what politicians are thinking about. Especially the politicians that are saying, oh, we don't need any more stimulus package at all. So you have those Republican senators that are saying, we don't need a stimulus package. And if we do, it needs to be very targeted, just like that skinny bill. It doesn't need to have stimulus checks in it or anything like that. But how can they be in a situation where they're that out of touch with the American people, especially in the day of the internet, where all you need to do is type in food bank in a Google search, and you're gonna pull up information that's just like this. So yeah, pretty interesting. So the first thing, before I even show you guys this video, I do want to, let's see if I can, I can go to it. All right, so can you hear me? Yeah, you guys can hear me. All right, so I have another Twitter account. So I have the Travel Explorer Click Twitter account, but I want to move all of my Twitter followers over to this account. And so it's at the TEC Show Live. Okay, so that's where I want to move everyone. And you guys probably didn't even know I had a Twitter account. I don't really do too much on my Twitter. I didn't in the past, but I will. I'm planning on doing a lot more when it comes to my Twitter account. So join me, follow me on Twitter, and I'm really going to start getting more into Twitter in the coming days. So you're going to see a lot of content. And this is actually the video that I'm showing you, is this video here. So let me go ahead and show you that video right now. All right, so it's playing again. So that's Chesterfield. You guys, if you go to Twitter, if you go to my Twitter account and start following me on Twitter, then the whole thing is there. So you have the person who recorded it and all that information on there. But I just thought that was interesting. So that's a food bank. They're waiting in line in a food bank. Double parked there, waiting in line to get food. I mean, that's how crazy it is. This is like, I mean, and this is not just there in Chesterfield, which Chesterfield, where is that? I was trying to find the actual state. They didn't have it. So if anybody knows Chesterfield, they know where that is, let me know in the chat. But yeah, just crazy, right? I mean, and I've seen this all over. I've seen it in Southern California. You see these long lines of people going into the waiting for food at food banks. It's amazing. And how do politicians not see this and not say this is a state of emergency? We need to do something. Like, how is this happening? And like I said, you have people, you have politicians that do see it, but they just can't agree on the amount of money. And then you have some politicians that just say, you know what, we don't need anything. So it's crazy. Brenda's saying in Missouri. Okay, so Missouri. All right, so this next clip that I want to show you, and let me, how do I put this? Okay, so when it comes to the election, we know traditional people running for office, running for re-election, you're going to have campaign rallies and things like that. During a pandemic, you would think that things would change up a little bit because we're in a pandemic. We would either have requirements that you must wear a mask if you can't be 6 feet apart, which is what CDC recommends, right? And we would probably try to avoid these things because you don't have to have these things. These are things that you're setting up. So the president had a rally in Reno, and it's just crazy how many people were there. And I'm going to show you a clip of people kind of rushing. Now they're rushing to get to, they want to be in the front, right? And so they had them packed all in, and then they allowed them to come through. And so people were kind of moving really fast to get so they can be up front. But just the sheer number of people, it's just irresponsible. It really is. And, you know, I know people make the argument, and I've talked with people, oh, well, you know, you have protests and people out of protesting, doing all this stuff, walking around. And, okay, well, this is not that's not a planned event. And the city officials are usually not for having groups of people out at this time in a pandemic. This is an organized event. This is a planned, organized event, and you have people everywhere, okay? Now, why does that matter? Why does it matter for us? Because when you see stuff like this is only going to keep us in this, you know, state that we're in right now longer. Because if some of these people get infected, which I'm sure they will, unfortunately, then they're going to pass it on. They're going to go back home, and they're going to pass it on to people when they go back home. And so it's one of those deals where we need to be responsible. And as the president, you need to be the role model. You need to be letting us know, okay, yeah, this is not okay. We shouldn't be organizing events like this. And if we do organize events like this, we should have it in a more organized way, I guess you could say. But I'm going to show you the clip, and then we'll talk about it. Crazy, 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 crazy. When I saw that, and that's 3.7 million people have watched that, And look, if you want to have a rally and you just have to have those people there, then why not have them single file? Now, I know that that line would have wrapped around probably a couple of buildings, but you would have, you can have them single file, just like when we used to have to wait in line to go into grocery stores, single file, 6 feet apart, and just have that line go all the way back as far as it could go. But just to have all the people, and before they let them out, they're all packed. They're all packed in. They have the little gates that are keeping them all close together. So, I mean, they're not doing them any favors. Like, they're not trying to keep them from having close contact with other people. They just have them all packed in there. So I was amazed when I saw it. Just amazed. Like, it's, if you want to get past this and at least slow the spread down, then you're going to need to do some things to not encourage people to come and get, just to come to see President Trump. They need to, pack themselves in. It's just crazy. And a lot of them I'm watching, and I could see it again. I could see it on my other screen here. And a lot of them are not wearing masks or anything like that. I do have this on my Twitter account. I retweeted it on my Twitter. So if you go there, you can see it. So at the TEC show live. So if you go over there, you can watch it again if you want to see. But that was in Reno, Nevada. So just let me know what you guys think. Let me know what you think down below. Pretty crazy. But this is not the time. And this brought me to a question which I have, and I need to find out. I'll do some research to try to find out the answer. But what if you're in a situation where you're quarantined during and you want to vote? Let's say you don't do absentee, you don't do the vote by mail, so you're not getting anything mailed to you. But 3-4 days before the election, you come down with COVID-19. What happens? Are you able to vote? Can you get like an emergency absentee ballot? Like, how does that work? If you're quarantined, you can't go and vote. You can't physically go vote. So I'm sure there's something in place. And this is something that I'm going to look into. But yeah, like what happens in that situation if you get COVID-19 a couple of days before the election and you physically, you have it. You've been tested, so you have it. Now you can't go to a poll. So what happens in that situation? That's something that, and I'm sure that there's situations. There has to be. Even before this whole pandemic, there were situations where people might have gotten sick right before the election and they weren't able to physically be there. How do they work that out? So, just something I'm putting out there. I don't know the answer to this question. I am going to do some research to see if someone, I'm sure someone has mentioned this before, but I'll definitely follow up on that. But those are the stories I wanted to show you guys today. So let me know down below in the comment section what you think about that, and also let me know in the chat. And we'll go to the chat right now. And so if you have a question for me, go ahead and ask the question, and I will do my best to answer it. And like I said, this whole thing in Reno did not have to happen, okay? And like I said, I know the argument, well, protests don't have to happen. I get it, but that's not something that the president is encouraging. Like, the president's not encouraging protesting right now. I don't think no one at this point is encouraging the large groups of people. They should not be. And the president here is encouraging a large group. He's encouraging, hey, come down. If you guys want to see President Trump, come on down. And not just come on down, but come on down and then squeeze them all into one space and not require them to wear a mask, because obviously most of the people there are not wearing masks. Or I won't say most, because I don't know. I wasn't there, but I'm just looking at the picture, at the video, and I'll play it again. Most of the people that are running through, it doesn't look like they're wearing masks. And so that's not, you're not helping that situation. I mean, you be the judge. You tell me. The majority of people I see running are not their way. Yeah. So, yeah, it's just amazing, and you see the photographers, and I am a photographer, so I know kind of how that works. But as soon as they started running through, they were like, "Oh, we got to get this picture. This is front page. This is front page news right here." So you just see them out there taking pictures, and you just see a sea of red hats running. Wow. Okay. All right, guys. All right. So we're gonna open up Q&A right now, and we'll talk a little bit about or we'll answer some questions. If you have a question for me, put at TEC or at the TEC show. Our new name to the channel. All right. And usually I'm going to work about halfway from the top. So if you ask me a question like 45 or how long have we been on? Yeah, if you ask me a question like 30 minutes ago, I'm not going that far up. So just ask me the question again. All right. So Thelma's saying that Trump is the worst president ever. All right. Chesterfield, Virginia. Okay, there's a Chesterfield in Virginia as well. Check out the link. If you guys if you go over to Twitter, my Twitter account, then you can check it out. I know there's more information there, but I just picked it up right before. I just saw it right before we got started, and so I didn't have that much time to actually look at it in its entirety. So, and let me preface that too. Like, I don't know the source. Okay, I saw the video, and I just put it out there. So I'm hoping that it was a food bank, but I can't confirm that. Okay, so just let me know what you guys come up with when it comes down to it. But it's not uncommon. I've seen the same lines in where I live. I've seen the same lines. We in Anaheim at the Anaheim not the Anaheim Convention Center, at the pond. That's where the Ducks play. The hockey team. They opened that up, and they've been doing this. They open up they have a food bank, or not. They don't have a food bank there, but they do the food bank thing there, and you see just cars lined up, waiting to go in and get food. And they've done that. Second Harvest does a lot of. I guess is it a food drive? Basically, where just the same situation where people are parked and they're driving in and picking up food. And Harper saying not 6 feet apart. Yeah. Now, and that's my whole thing. Like, if you want to do something like this and have all these people at this rally, then tell them, look, you need to wear a mask. It's required to get in. They're all going to wear a mask because if it's required to get in, they want to come see the president, they're going to wear a mask. So have them do that, and then have them lined up 6 feet apart. I just don't. Like, if you want to do things, do it. You can do it that way, and to have them all packed in, that's another big issue. Like, you just have them all. You have them all packed in within, in a gate, shoulder to shoulder. Yeah, it's crazy. Okay, let's see. Any other questions here? Tidy saying that, and if the people really get sick, then they'll blame Nancy Pelosi. And I'm not even. I didn't even show you that video it's one of those situations where I just want to show you, like, this stuff could be avoided. So when we're having these discussions about COVID-19 not going away and all this stuff that we're talking about, and when are we going to stop having to wear a mask, and when is a vaccine coming, and all this stuff, this does not help. This does not help. And so if you can avoid things like this and you have the control to avoid it, then you should be doing everything that you can to make that happen. That's just my opinion when it comes down to it. And doing this the way that they did this, just it blows my mind. And then not to mention you have people running. So what does that mean? When you have people running, that means they get winded. That means they start breathing heavier. I mean, it's crazy. It's crazy. And it has to, I mean, it's one of those situations where it has to look like, people look at this, just like I'm looking at it and you're looking at it, you're thinking, wow, that's crazy. So I don't care if you're a Trump supporter or not, you're going to look at that and be like, yeah, that's probably not the right thing to do. And yeah, wow. Andrew saying Trump doesn't care. Let's see. Author saying, yeah, they have no face mask. So we'll have to see what comes of this. Like, is this going to cause any an uptick in Nevada? I guess we could follow it, just like what was it, South Dakota, where they had Sturgis and there was a rise in cases, and let alone a lot of these people are going home. They're going to other areas. Some of them are coming to California because they wanted to go see the Trump rally, so they might have driven from California, Northern California, over to Reno to go see this. They might be coming back to California, which, I mean, it's just one of those things that's it doesn't have to happen. It really doesn't. But time and time again, we're seeing things like this, which is not good. Okay. Other questions, guys? And also, if you guys could do me a favor, hit that like button. Let's get up to 1,000 likes. We should be able to do that. We have about 900 people in the building, and we have about 837 likes. Andrew saying it's Sturgis Part 2. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, we know, and the president knows, and he knew, and he's on tape saying that this is airborne. So we know that it's an airborne virus, and it just seems like, oh man, it's crazy. Maybe later saying online voting, question mark. Yeah, I don't know, man. I'm still not. There's just too much that could happen on the internet, and I'm not one of these conspiracy theorists. And I think that absentee voting is fine. Vote by mail is fine, but the internet is it's still a lot that we don't know, and we still see people getting hacked. When I say people, I mean we still see. Excuse me, we still see banks and we still see stuff like that getting hacked, which is crazy. So it would just be really, I don't know how I feel about the online voting. Okay. And Joe says it only affirms how people listen to their leaders. Yeah, I wouldn't want to be in that crowd. Like, I'm amazed. Like, I would not want to be in a crowd like that. And I could only imagine. Like, one of the things that I was looking forward to, but I'm not, well, it's not even going to happen. As far as I know, it's not going to happen. But I go to Carnival every year. The last 2 years I've gone to Carnival in Colombia. In Barranquilla, and it's a large crowd. I'm not going this year. I mean, it's not going to happen. I'm sure that they've already canceled it, but even if they were going to have it, I wouldn't go because it's like that. It's a crowd like that, shoulder to shoulder. Yeah, I would not do it, even though I really want to go and I enjoy my time there and all that. No. I'm just not going to do it. I'll wait until we figure out what's going to happen with this pandemic, and then do something. right, guys. Any questions? Just put at TEC. We're going to work our way down. We'll be on for another 6 minutes. So we have another 6 minutes on. So make sure you ask your question now. Mimi, thank you for becoming a member. Thank you very much. Now, anyone that becomes a member, you guys need to hit me up on the Discord if you guys want to be in our private Discord. Okay, so just contact me on the Discord, and the easiest way to do that is, or if you don't know what I'm talking about, there should be a link. Is my Streamlabs is not working, is it? Oh yeah, it's on there. Okay, so there should be a link. Here's the group right here. I think I can, I can't copy it. And I can't click on it. Let's see. So there's a link to the Discord. I'm trying to copy it right now. I think that's it. All right. So put this link in. If you did become a member, even if you're not, you can still join our Discord. It's totally free, and we have a variety of different rooms in there. And those rooms are basically stimulus check related rooms. We have job announcements. We have credit card stuff. We have travel credit card information in there as well. So go ahead and join the Discord. But if you do become a member, make sure you let me know. So send me a private message saying that, hey, I became a member and I want to join the private membership group on the Discord. Okay, let's see. What kind of camera are you using? This is a Sony a7R III, and I just have everything hooked up to a cam link, and so it's like my virtual not virtual webcam. It's the webcam setup kind of thing. I don't want to get too much into the camera stuff because not everybody's interested in the camera stuff. But if you want to know more information, if you check out Everything David, just type in Everything David in the YouTube search, and it will pull up my other channel. And I do talk more about camera equipment and stuff like that. And I do plan to kind of give you guys the whole setup when it comes to how I shoot videos. Okay, so Gabby Girl is saying, with all the numbers of deaths, they have reported that it should cost Nancy that much to send out stimulus checks. I don't know if I understand. It should cost. I don't know if I understand what you're saying, Gabby Girl. Okay, guys. And we're almost there with 1,000 likes. So if you guys could hit the like button, I'd appreciate it. If you haven't done so, we have about 913. Born Beauty Star, what's going on? Kathy, what's going on? And Born Beauty Star saying, do you think they know they might get infected? Yeah, some people don't even think that this is real. So that's a good a good question you're asking there, or statement really you're making. Like some of them, if you don't think it's real, then I mean you don't see any like why not be in a crowd? You don't think that it's actually going to happen to you. So I mean that's a good point. Like if you don't think that it's going to happen, then you'll be in a large crowd. And you won't wear a mask. Like even if I was there, and there are a few people, I can see a few people scattered that are wearing masks. But if I was there, I would be wearing a mask, like just in case. And then the whole thing is like, and they say wear a mask to protect the other person. So even if you're wearing a mask, you're not even protecting yourself. You're more protecting them from you. So everyone really needs to wear a mask. I don't know. It's crazy. Okay. Am I seeing your question, Judy? I did not see your question. So anyone, if you guys have a question and I miss your question, just put at TEC. You have to put at TEC. And even then, Judy, you didn't put at TEC here, but I just happened to see that you wrote that. If you put at TEC, then I'm going to focus on those first. So as I'm scanning through, I'm going to look at that first. And if you do, and if I don't answer your question, then just put at TEC again and ask me the question again. Don't just say, you didn't answer my question, because then I won't be able to find your question. I'll have to work my way all the way up and try to find it. So just ask me the question again. Okay. And I saw Dolly in the building. What's going on, Dolly? Okay. Any questions? Like I said, we'll be on for... we'll make it another 5 minutes. We're going to be on in another 5 minutes. We have about 30 more likes to get to 1,000 likes. So if you guys could do that, I appreciate it. Maribel saying that 955, almost 10,000 or almost 1,000. All right. Aaron, what's going on, Aaron? Aaron saying 34 more likes. So Andrew's asking, do I think that masks should be a government mandate? I do think that. I do think so. I mean, it's already, like, if you go into stores, you already need, well, I won't say everywhere. If you go into stores in California, you're required to wear a mask, and they tell you there's a sign up out front. So any public place, you have to wear a mask. They even go so far as saying that you need to wear it in the city, like if you're walking around and stuff. But I don't think they're really enforcing that. Not that I don't see them really. Well, I don't know. I've walked around some places where people aren't wearing masks, but if you go into a store, you need to wear a mask. This just happened yesterday. I went into to the grocery store, and there were, I think, four young ladies that came in, and they weren't wearing a mask. And so they have security now that's standing out front, which we never had at the supermarket before. But so he was telling me, hey, you need to wear a mask. And they do have masks in the store, so that he was going to walk them over to where they could buy masks so they could wear them. And of course they were upset and saying, we just need to run in here and grab something. And he was just telling them, no, you need to wear a mask. So he tried to walk them over to that area, and they just walked away and went outside. And the crazy thing is, as I'm leaving, and I'd been in the store maybe 20 minutes. So as I'm leaving, they're still standing out there. And I'm thinking, why not just go home, get a mask? Or I don't know. It didn't make any sense to me. Or go buy a mask there. It was kind of a weird thing. Like, they didn't want to leave, but they had already told them that they couldn't be in there without masks. So, and this is your store. Like, you could make the rules when it comes to that. But as far as a mandate overall, I think it would slow down the spread. And I think that's what we really need to focus on, is slowing the spread down. It's not going to completely get rid of this virus, but it will slow it down to a point where it could be controlled. And once you have it in a situation where we can control it, then you're not going to have as many outbreaks. So I do think, in public places, it should be mandated that you wear a mask. So that's just my feeling. I know there are people that are, no, we shouldn't have to wear a mask and all this stuff, but those are some of the same people who are complaining that we're still dealing with this virus right now. So, all right, let's move on. Perry's asking if I speak fluent Spanish. No, I do not. No, I need to learn. I actually have a teacher, Afro Guajira. She's a YouTuber, and she lives in Colombia. Actually, a friend of mine, and she's been helping me. Actually, we haven't done sessions in a while, but in a couple months. But usually when I'm getting ready to go to Colombia, I always start doing sessions with her so she can kind of get me back up to speed. But I speak some Spanish. I understand more than what I speak, but yeah, I'm not fluent in Spanish for sure. But I have a good Spanish tongue, I guess you can say, or I can say the words. I just don't know all the words. Let's see. If a state has a mask mandate. Now, I don't know what's going on in Nevada if they do have a mask mandate. That's a good point there. But if the state has a mask mandate, how can Trump say masks are not mandatory for his rally? Yeah, that's a good question, Guy. Like I said, I don't know if there is a mask mandate in um, in Nevada, but that would be a a good thing. Like, or do you have if it's a private event? Can they? Yeah, I don't see it. How do you work that? Like, if it's a private event, yeah, I don't know. I guess if it's a private event, you still have to go by whatever the guidelines for that event is. And Wayne is saying they can't say that CNN is fake news. The president and senators have been fake news. Yeah, I look at it like this: if you're asking a valid question, then you should answer that question. And if you can't, I mean, the argument is not to say, well, you're fake news. Like, answer the question. What does you I'm not gonna get into it, but it's just crazy to me. That's the way they combat that, and this comes from the president. Like, the president will say, I'm not answering that question. That's fake news, or where are you from, and all that. If he doesn't want to answer a question, and a lot of those questions are very valid. All right, we reached 1,000. Thank you guys very much for the 1,000 likes. Let's see. And who told me that? Maribel. Maribel, she's been counting the likes. Thank you, Maribel. All right, guys, we're gonna go ahead and get down to the last questions here. So, 2-minute warning. This is a 2-minute warning. Any questions? Just go ahead and put at travel or at TEC. Dion's asking me if I think Trump will be voted out. I don't know. I think the race is close. I do. I think it's closer than what the polls are showing. We'll have to see. People need to get out and vote. I think we're going to have a different type of election this year because there are a lot of people that are upset. And so I think because the president is there in office, he's gonna take a lot. I mean, there are going to be a lot of people coming out to vote, and that's probably going to hurt him. All right, guys. I'm just going to go to the bottom because we're going to have to go. All right. I'm just looking through. Okay. Is it Ambi? Ambi for life is asking a question about executive order. Do I think the president will do an executive order? I mean, you can't. He's already mentioned it, right? And you know how Trump is. He's very impulsive. So it could be a situation where things are really not going well for him, and he says, "Up, you know what? Change the story. Executive order. Let's go ahead and do it." So we'll have to see what happens in I'd say the next couple of weeks would really decide it. And if they can't come to some type of a resolution in the next couple of weeks, then the president will probably just move forward with an executive order that he's really can't do when it comes to sending out stimulus checks. But that doesn't mean he can't say, "Oh, I'm doing an executive order," and we'll figure out what happens next. So we'll see. Let's see. All right, guys, we're going to go ahead and take off. I know there are a couple of questions that I did not answer. So just in the comment section, just put the questions in the comment section. I'm going to have to take off because I'm getting a phone call right now, and I think I know who it is. So I'm going to go ahead and answer that right now. So any questions that I did not answer, just put it in the comment section. Thank you guys all for stopping by. Thank you all for your support. Really appreciate it. We are not doing a live stream tomorrow, but I will have a video out tomorrow morning, as well as if anything comes down tomorrow, if we get any more information tomorrow, that like anything breaking, then I might come on for a live stream tomorrow when it's breaking, or I'll be putting out another additional video. But expect a video tomorrow morning, and then we'll have something else. later in that evening if need be. All right, guys, I'll talk to you later. Bye.